Hi everyone, my name is Julie Vincent. I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. Now if I can have everyone come up here and introduce themselves, that should take up pretty much all of my presentation. When Cambria asked me to come out here last month, I never hesitated. I'm so passionate, about nutrition and in the ability for our bodies to heal themselves. So having the opportunity to come out here, I'm absolutely honored. That doesn't mean that I'm not a nervous wreck. I don't do a lot of public speaking. Everything that I do is very much in the comfort of my own home. I'm grateful that Vicki is here today. She films my TV show, Healthy Living with Julie Vincent. It's on YouTube and on Shaw. I'm so grateful to have that. I don't get paid for it, but I do it from my heart as I'm shaking steadily right now. Whenever I get in front of people, I tend to get super nervous. My heart starts to race. My palms get pretty sweaty. I'm glad it's actually cold in here today because it's not so bad. And looking back at the last time that I felt this anxious and this scared was actually when my health journey really got serious. For those of you who don't know, I used to work for PepsiCo Foods. I worked for them for 13 years, so the pop, the chips, that was my career. So my job was very active, but I didn't really feel good about what I did. I started working out when I was 18 years old, but nutrition was something, the food is everywhere, right? We've got every holiday, we've got every event, and Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day. And so it wasn't until I made a decision to leave PepsiCo, which was one of the hardest decisions of my life. I had developed a lot of lower back pain with my job. My job was very physical. I was up and down ladders. I was driving a 3/4-ton truck. I delivered chips, spits, salsa, all that stuff, and I stocked all the shelves all over Kenora and the surrounding communities. And I didn't really feel good about what I did, but the money was really good. I had a pension, I had benefits, and I had a daughter to raise and bills to pay. I had my first daughter quite young when I was 16. And then years later, 14 years later, I got pregnant with my second child. And while I was pregnant with Destiny, my little girl who's 7 now, when I came back from mat leave and I was running home like 3 times a day to pump and it was tough, and I was working pretty much 7 days a week. The hours were pretty crazy. I didn't have a lot of quality time with my children, and that was something that was really important to me. So when I made the decision to leave, which was a really hard decision, I spent about 2 weeks of putting my daughter to bed every night and crying and wondering, am I making the right decision? Is this gonna work? How am I gonna make this work? How am I gonna be able to support my family? And I was terrified, but I did it. And if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have my show. I wouldn't be a personal trainer. I'd still be making people unhealthy for a living instead of making people smile for a living with everything that I do now. So I'm so glad that I made that decision, as hard as it was to get out of my comfort zone. I'm so grateful. So now I have my TV show, Healthy Living with Julie. I run 3-week weight loss challenges every month. Again, I don't benefit from that either, but I do it for accountability. So everyone pays their $25. I give it all back in prizes at the end. I have another one starting next month in April. This current one is ending on Monday. And I've had people that have joined these challenges, and that's all it took for them, was just having that little bit of accountability of, to be more mindful with their choices when it comes to food. Now, when it comes to nutrition and mental health, we have neurons in our brains, and these neurons are affected greatly by nutrition. So when you're eating a nutrition that's full of, high fatty foods and sugars, processed foods, those neurons, that can stop that connection, and that can cause things like depression. Our bodies, the best way that I can put it, I use this analogy, it's one of my favorite ones. How many of you guys have a vehicle or anything with a motor? Right? Okay, so what if you were to fill your fuel tank with pop instead of fuel? How well would your vehicle run? Not very good, right? Probably break down. So our bodies are the same, right? If you don't fuel your body with nutritious foods, then you have the possibility of illness. You don't feel so good. Your energy levels, it affects your entire being. Not just from a physical standpoint, but I'm talking more on the inside, right? So anytime that people have illnesses that ends in itis, so think of arthritis, pancreatitis, dermatitis, all of those means that you have inflammation in that area. So what causes inflammation in the body? A lot of these high processed sugar foods, animal products, have a ton of, they cause you inflammation in your body. So what can we do to counteract that inflammation? Well, we can make better choices, for one. Smaller servings, adding things such as like apple cider vinegar. The benefits are huge for blood sugar, huge. I have clients that come to me that are pre-diabetic or they have diabetes already, and they have noticed that even by taking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in the morning and at night, that alone will reduce their blood sugar. So I wouldn't suggest taking it straight because it doesn't taste very good, and it's not good for the enamel on your teeth either. I highly recommend, so this is the Bragg's apple cider vinegar, so it's got the mother in there. We start our days every day with a little bit of apple cider vinegar mixed in lemon water. You can also add it, if you don't like it that way, add it to an apple cinnamon tea with a good quality sweetener, then it's going to taste more like apple cider. So that's one way. I have to take this out because I promised my little girl that I would speak into this. So Destiny, this is for you, my little girl. I love you so much. My little microphone. Sorry guys, I am really nervous, so it's hard for me to find my words. I brought my little cards, but I'm shaking, so that makes it really tough. So basically, every bite that you take out of food is either fighting disease or it's feeding it. When it comes to making, better choices, I try with my clients, it's always, when I write a meal plan, it's never like you have to weigh your food or, like you can only eat this and that. I give people a ton of different options throughout the day for their meals, for their snacks. Compromise. If you're going out to eat, for example, you can make better choices by simply be, if you're gonna have that burger and French fries, you could have the burger without the bun. You can choose to separate your meal as soon as you go out and take half of it home, or share it with the person that you're with. That's another option. I eat with baby utensils, which I find slows down my eating, so I find that I get fuller faster. So baby fork, baby spoon, smaller plates. If you have a bigger plate, you tend to fill it up more. Adding nutrition to your food, do not underestimate the power of your blender. I use this especially with kids, with picky eaters. Does anyone here have a picky eater at home? Yeah? Okay, awesome. So when it comes to picky eaters, you wouldn't believe the amount of good foods that you can put in a blender and they wouldn't even know. So think of smoothies, soups. Even if you're making a meat sauce, you can easily use, vegetables like cucumber, celery, spinach. Spinach is so high, just 1 cup of spinach is so high in vitamin K, vitamin A. There's so much vitamins in there. So I mean, use your blender. Does everyone here have one? Perfect. Smoothies, kids love smoothies. You can make them taste great, but you can also add other things to them that they're not gonna see, right? Like my oldest daughter despises mushrooms, and so I blend them in the blender and I just add them to stuff. She doesn't know she's eating them, and you can do that with all sorts of fruits and vegetables. Do you guys have a grocery store out here? I didn't get a chance to ask anyone. Is there one out here? No, there's no, so everyone shops in Kenora? Is that where you guys usually go? Yeah, Kenora? So, Kenora, I'm pretty familiar with the stores there. Shopping in bulk, like if you're only shopping every couple of weeks, frozen is fine. Wholesale has a huge selection of frozen fruits and vegetables, and those will stay good for a longer time if you're not gonna use it faster. Even when I buy fresh, if you're gonna buy things like strawberries, blueberries, peppers, carrots, those types of things, if you find that they're gonna go bad in your fridge, cut them up and freeze them. And again, you can use them in sauces, stews, chilies, and if you do have that picky eater at home, just put them through the blender first. That way it gets added into the mixture so that you don't see it. Kids, especially, babies, blending their foods, right? I always encourage people to start kids off with vegetables instead of fruits so that they don't have that first taste of sugar, and then of course they're gonna choose the fruits over the vegetables. I think Destiny, I had started her on avocado to start because it's pretty easy to mash. But again, you can make your own baby food. You'll save money for sure, and it's pretty easy. You can freeze it in little ice cube trays and just pop those out. For moms, I encourage, if you're nursing and you're producing a lot of milk, freeze that milk and use that into your baby food. Mother's milk is full of nutrients. Kids really need that nutrition for their development as they grow, for their brain functions. It's so important. I did bring 8 participation prizes with me. I'll be asking some questions. I wish I could have brought more. I wanted to bring something for everyone, but that was unrealistic. I know Steph is in my Unique Creations group. Is anyone else in that group? Hi, Steph. Steph bought a purse for me today, saved on shipping. That's another thing that I do that I'm really, really passionate about. And in my Unique Creations group on Facebook, I also have some healthy items in there as well. I have a whole food post. There's a ton of items in there to choose from. I have clients all over Canada, and some of them are in fly-in, fly-out communities. communities, and they don't have the same access to food, right? You guys are pretty lucky to be able to go to Kenora when you get the chance. So I ship a lot of that kind of stuff out to help my clients achieve their goals. And if they need, extras, I'll go to Walmart, I'll go, I can't ship a lot of produce and that kind of stuff, but I can definitely ship a lot of things like, chia seeds and steel cut oatmeal and, stuff that's gonna last them for a while. So, one of my most successful clients right now is actually, and I hope I pronounce it right, Wegamau, just north of Thunder Bay, I do believe. And she was pre-diabetic when she came to me, and she just made some positive changes in her nutrition, and she's no longer pre-diabetic. Her blood work is phenomenal, and that makes me so happy, because why live in discomfort when you don't have to? And if you're not fighting an illness, then preventing it as well. So I want to get into some of the good foods, the inflammation foods, for example. So garlic, for example, decreases and stabilizes blood sugars. It enhances your immunity, right? Like, how many people are sick of getting sick? Your nutrition plays a huge part in that too. Our bodies have the ability to heal themselves. L-glutamine, just 500 milligrams twice daily on an empty stomach, reduces sugar cravings and aids in the release of insulin. I had all those sugar cravings. I was very much an emotional eater for most of my life. It wasn't until I went for my personal training certification and my nutrition coach certification that I learned really fast that all this pain that I was having in my back, I could get rid of just through nutrition. And I went through a lot of testing, I was going to the chiropractor, I was going to acupuncture. I was like, all of these things cost quite a bit of money, right? I was back and forth to the doctors. And they all pretty much told me the same thing, that if I stayed working with PepsiCo, that I would be in pain all of my life, and that didn't really sound like much fun. So I chose to make a change, right? We all have the ability to make those changes and to make those choices. And I know it's hard, because with the food industry, it's really confusing as to what's healthy and what's not. I know a lot of people that follow the keto diet, for example. Well, if you go look at some of the products on the shelf that are keto snacks, keto friendly, a lot of them contain, well, some of them, not a lot, but I've seen quite a bit of maltodextrin, maltitol. Maltodextrin on the GI index, which measures the sugar levels, is way higher than sugar. So that means it's going to cause that insulin spike. And it upsets me that they market these products as being good for you when, that could really hurt someone whose blood sugars they're already having troubles with them. They're on medication for that, and that's not right. I brought a few items here just for comparison. So, when it comes to sweeteners, for example, so I have two of them here. I have one that's from Equate, and then I have a sweet leaf one. This Equate one contains maltodextrin. Why? Right? So that's why it's really important to turn packages around and look to see what's in there, in the ingredients list. So if you learn anything today, maltodextrin and maltitol, try to stay away from those, as they will raise your blood sugars substantially. Nuts are so good for you, but again, and I used to sell these, when you look at the ingredients in nuts, it should just say nuts, right? So this one has peanuts, peanut oil and or vegetable oil. A lot of these oils do a lot of harm in our bodies. You know, I only stick to avocado oil personally and extra virgin olive oil. Those are the only two oils that I use. I do use butter as well, but not margarine, because margarine is pretty chemical. Juice boxes for kids, I mean, water is, of course, better, but you know, there are some that have way less sugar. So these ones, for example, with 60% less sugar, only have 9 grams. I've seen some on the shelf that had up to 24 grams. So just these little mindful choices when you're out shopping and just looking to see what it is that you're putting in your body. I mean, we all have foods that we love, and I'm not standing here trying to tell you guys to stop eating everything that you love. Just be a little bit more mindful in what you choose to put in your body, right? Our bodies are not garbage disposals. So I always ask my clients, what's more important to me than the numbers on the scale? How are you feeling? How are your energy levels? How are you sleeping? You know, those are the important things, and nutrition plays a huge role in all of those things. You know, I know for myself, if I indulge in sugar or in alcohol, my back pain comes right back for 3 to 4 days. Why is that? Because there's now inflammation in that area, right? So no one has to live with that pain. And medications, I mean, are great for certain things, but when you start taking a medication, have you ever taken the time to look at the possible side effects of those medications? Some of them are pretty scary. And then you start taking one medication and you end up having to take another medication because of that medication, right? Like some people will end up with bladder infections, or, you know, so there's no need for that. There's so much natural remedies out there. I mean, sometimes you have to take medication, but not all the time, right? Turmeric is huge for inflammation as well. But it cannot be absorbed in your body on its own. You've got to add some black pepper and a good source of fat to it, like olive oil, to be able to absorb it. Magnesium. A huge percentage of people are short in magnesium. So here's your first question. How many functions in the body is magnesium responsible for? I'm looking for a certain number. It's high.
4, 23, 50.
Keep going. Higher. I just need to find the...
162.
I just gotta find, oh, it's on this side, that's why. What's the highest number I got so far? It's in the hundreds. So how many functions in the body does magnesium affect? Are you Googling it? Yeah.
160. 300. 200. 200.
Who said 300? You got it. Go pick a prize, honey. My little girl put little hearts on the eyes, and the reason why I went with Spider-Man bags is because I feel that when you truly take care of your body, you feel like a superhero. So yes, magnesium is responsible for 300 functions in the body. It plays a crucial role in hormone balance. For example, it affects your thyroid function, estrogen detoxification, blood sugar. You can get it from nuts, seeds, leafy greens. If you're deficient in it, you might experience some muscle cramping, headaches, migraines, mood changes, low energy, PMS. So there's a few different forms of magnesium, but the two that I want to touch on are magnesium citrate, which does not absorb in the body, but it's really good for headaches, and if you have constipation issues, magnesium is really good. Oftentimes when you go to the doctors and you're having constipation issues, or your children are having them, they'll prescribe Restoralax, which my doctor had told me to keep my little girl on Restoralax for like 5 months, and the bottle says 5 days maximum. So that was a little confusing. And then after smelling it, which Michael had pointed out, it smells like carpenter's glue. I didn't really want to give that to my baby. So magnesium citrate is a much better option. Magnesium glycemate, on the other hand, is very well absorbed in the body. So if you're deficient in magnesium, it's a great one to take. It's really hard to get it from our foods nowadays because the soil has been so processed. It also helps reduce inflammation, stress relief. It's good for sleep. It's good for your blood sugar levels. It's good for anxiety, depression. You know, it's a really important nutrient that we need. So magnesium. So some more questions. Okay, so this one's just 2 possible answers. So which one of these, and I'll ask you guys to raise your hands and not blurt out the answer so that way I can give away a prize. Which one of these do you think has more sugar? A 355 ml of Minute Maid orange juice, or a 330 ml of can of Coke? Wrong. Wrong, it's actually orange juice. It's actually orange juice. But you raised your hand and I picked you, so pick a prize. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, Minute Maid orange juice actually has more sugar than a can of Coke, not by much. So 36 grams for the orange juice and 34 grams for the Coke. The next one, again, 2 possible answers. What do you think has more sugar, a carrot muffin at McDonald's or a baked apple pie?
Apple pie.
Steph, seeing how I know your name? You are correct. Come pick your prize. So this is a huge difference. So for people who are actually trying to make better choices, surprisingly, a carrot muffin at McDonald's has 35 grams of sugar, and an apple pie only has 12. That's a pretty substantial amount. When you think of grams of sugar, think of the little sugar cubes, right? So that's quite a big difference, right? And most people would probably pick the muffin over the apple pie. So that's what I mean by just making some small changes. Okay, now the next one has 3 possible answers, and this is Tim Hortons. Who loves Tim Hortons? All right, so maybe you'll know. So which one, again, has more sugar? A large hot chocolate, a large ice cap with cream, or a large French vanilla?
Ice cap.
That one actually has the least, but you still get a prize. So the large hot chocolate has 67 grams of sugar, which is the most. The large ice cap with cream has 62, and the large French vanilla has 55. They're all still very high, but I was even surprised when I did my research on some of these. Now let's get into alcohol. 3 possible answers. which of these, this is one shot, which has the least amount of sugar between Fireball, Bailey's, or Malibu?
Fireball.
Wrong. It's Malibu. Correct. You can come and pick a prize. Fireball and Bailey's both have 11 grams, and Malibu has 5.4. So almost half. What's that? Okay, now this is just one answer, and let's see who can get this one. How many calories are in 1 pound of body fat? Anybody?
16. 1,000.
You Googling it? Yeah, okay.
150.
How many calories are in 1 pound of body fat?
75.
Keep going up. Correct. Well, how am I supposed to give away a prize on that one? Well, you're lovely. I think you should get a prize. Get a prize. So there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of body fat. So what that means, you know when you go on a diet, and I don't like that word, I like lifestyle change a lot better. A diet is something that you start and you stop, and then what ends up happening, usually you end up gaining that weight back. So when people decide to start making some healthier choices, and you know, like some of my clients will say to me, oh, but I messed up this weekend, like I ate all of this and whatever. Yeah, but did you eat 3,500 calories? Because that's quite a bit. You would have to eat 3,500 calories extra to gain 1 pound of body fat. So over time, that's why it's easy to pile it on. And then to take it off, you gotta have a deficit somewhere. So that's where some of the health changes come into place. Let's move on to Dairy Queen. What has, now we're calories. What do you think has the most calories out of a banana split, a large fudge sundae, and a large dipped cone? Which one, sorry? So it's between a banana split, a large fudge sundae, and a large dipped cone. The sundae? No, but you still get a prize. The large dipped cone actually has the most amount of calories. So a large dipped cone is 640 calories, a large fudge sundae is 600, and the banana split is 520. So again, that was pretty surprising. Got one more? Okay, I'll make it a hard one. What is the #1 healthiest food in the world? What do you think?
Chickpeas.
Nope. Nope.
Avocado.
Good answers. I'll give you a big hint. It's yellow.
Banana.
Nope. Who said lemon? You got it. Get your prize, Lionel. You deserve that. So lemons are an alkalizing power food, strong anti-inflammatory, and they help inhibit the growth of cancer. Who likes lemon water? That's a pretty simple way to add lemon into your diet, right? Just squeeze some into a water. Now, when it comes to organic lemons, you can use the peels too, but if it's not organic, I wouldn't suggest using the peel because that's where all the pesticides are, so. What are some of the other ones? A few other ones I wanted to mention, and I had to write them down because I knew that I wouldn't remember everything that I wanted to talk about today. Does anyone here take quercetin? No? So quercetin, just 100 milligrams daily, 3 times a day, helps to protect the membranes of the lens of the eye from accumulations of polyols as a result of high glucose. Coenzyme Q10, another big one. You know, a lot of times, I was just actually talking about this with my 78-year-old sweetheart. This woman is so dear to my heart. She was a nurse for 30 plus years. She worked at children's hospitals. This woman is incredible. Anyways, along the way, she found out that she was going to lose her eyesight. And she has lost it now. And she teaches me so much about herbal medicines, and I just try to take it all in. Anyways, one of the really interesting facts that she talked to me about was the fact that when people get very angry, like I don't just mean like a little angry, I mean like rage. Oftentimes it's because they're deficient in vitamin B. That's an interesting fact, right? A lot of these vitamins, a lot of these nutrients we get from foods, but when you're eating a high processed, high sugar diet, you're not getting all of those vitamins that you need for your brain functions, for your liver, for your heart. So that's why it's really important. And one of the little guidelines that I can give, for example, if you're going to go to the store and you're going to buy cereal, for example, try to find a cereal that's higher in fiber than it is in sugar. Now, you might spend like an hour in the cereal aisle, but there are some. And the reason why I suggest that is because fiber digests differently in the body. It keeps you fuller longer. It's not digested like carbohydrates and fats and proteins. It basically goes through you and pulls the water and helps you to stay regular as well. Here I brought another couple of examples. So Nutri-Grain bars, who thinks these are healthy? Do you want my Nutri-Grain bar?
No, I can go around showing them.
Oh, okay. I just want to read them. So a Nutri-Grain bar, for example, has 140 calories. It has 14 grams of sugar and only 1 gram of fiber. So I wouldn't consider this a very good option, especially when you start looking at some of the ingredients in there. It's full of ingredients. I mean, if you can't pronounce the ingredients in your foods, I don't know if they should belong in your body. Whereas this one, so this is a good fats bar, this one has 180 calories. It has 12 grams of fiber. So 11 grams more than that one. And there's some protein in there too. Oatmeal. Oatmeal is good for you, but not when it's got all the added sugar to it, right? So if you're gonna have oatmeal in the morning, instead of buying the already sugared ones, you can add your own stuff. Think of, some fruits, some natural nut butter. Peanut butter is the same as nuts. It should only have peanuts on the back, not a whole bunch of other hydrogenated oils and sugar and everything else. What's that? Yeah, what would you like to look at? This? Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to find foods that have some type of nutrition in them when you're shopping. Like these things. You know, one package of these is 200 calories, 22 grams of carbohydrates, 0 grams of sugar, or sorry, 0 grams of fiber, and 5 grams of sugar. So there's no nutrition in this whatsoever. So if you're gonna eat something that has no nutrition in it, maybe try to eat it with something that does have some nutrition in it, you know, such as fruits and vegetables, you know, stir fries. Does anybody here make stir fries? You can add a whole bunch of different, yeah, stir fries are a great option, right? It's just the sauce that you have to be careful with, you know, I mean, rice, flour, those things don't have much nutrition, but you know, there are things that you can buy instead, like cauliflower rice is a great option. Flour, almond flour, coconut flour, also great options. You can also put oatmeal right in the blender and it'll turn into a flour, and you can bake with that as well. I use a lot of that for my banana breads, for my muffins, and it's not very expensive to buy either. I'm losing my train of thought here.
And wild rice is really good.
Yeah, wild rice is a great option, great option. And that's the thing, right? In the older days, our food wasn't so processed the way that it is now. And people weren't as sick back then either, right? Nowadays, a lot of our meats, I'm not talking about the wild meat, that's a great option, but a lot of our meat, I mean, they inject the animals with antibiotics and growth hormones, and that's what we're eating. And unfortunately, it's making us sick. You know, the dairy products, they do the same things, and it's sad, really. But when you're actively trying to make better options, you know, turn those packages over and see, you know, what you're ingesting, and watch those sugars. There's always better options. What's that? Oh, you want me to take a look? Yeah, for sure. Oh, the made goods. The made goods. Okay, so I have researched these before. So this one has 100 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 17 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of sugar. It only has 1 gram of fiber. You do have some vitamins in there. This wouldn't be an optimal choice. And what are the ingredients in here? Oh, so see. So the first ingredient is pure gluten-free oats. Great. The second ingredient is sugars, right? So anytime I turn over a package, if I see sugar or high glucose corn syrup in the first 3 ingredients, gone. But I'm really extreme, but that's also because I relate pain to eating certain foods, right? Like, I mean, I was the first one to eat all my kids' Halloween candy whenever she'd go trick-or-treating. And, you know, I had a lot of emotional baggage that I had to get rid of before I could really clean up my diet. You know, I had a really, really difficult childhood. My mom was a pretty violent alcoholic, and my dad was a child molester. So, I mean, I had a lot to work on the inside before I could get into, you know, proper ways of eating. But by educating myself, I've been able to help a lot of people that are struggling as well, you know? So when people come to me, I'll have a consultation with them, which takes about an hour. I get to know them, you know, what diets they've tried, what their illnesses are, if they're suffering in any way. And then when I write a meal plan for them, I wouldn't put, for example, broccoli on someone's meal plan who doesn't like broccoli. Like, I listen to people. I want to know what they like, what they don't like, you know, and try to make it a lifestyle change, make it so that they can be successful. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
You do
You know more about the 7-year taste buds?
The 7-year what, sorry?
Every 7 years, your taste bud changes. How?
Yeah, they say that your body changes overall. Yeah, sometimes you can develop allergies and stuff like that. What exactly did you want to know?
Well, it's just that, like, the stuff you didn't like, you actually like.
Yeah, like keep reintroducing things, and especially with kids, keep reintroducing things, you know? I mean, there's not just one way to cook something. You know, you might have tried, for example, Brussels sprouts, but you might have only ever tried them boiled, for example, right? But that's not the only way that you can have them. You can have them roasted, you can have them, does anyone here own an air fryer? I love my air fryer. That is a great invention because it's a great way to still have something flavorful and crispy, but without all that added oil, right? So already right there, you're taking all of that oil. Like air frying over deep frying is a way better option. And I mean, in an air fryer, you can make your chicken wings, you can make French fries, all that kind of stuff. So it's a great tool to have in your kitchen. So now we're going to give out air fryers for prizes next time. Did you have a question? Sorry? Yeah. Liver?
Because I know when I was younger, I didn't like liver because everybody said, yes, you put some thought into liver. I tried something that tastes good, but I'm just asking, like, is that good? What's that? Is that good?
So liver, to answer your question, is a great option. Here's the catch. So in wild meat, yes. In animal products that are manufactured through all of these processes, I mean, with everything that they're injecting, that I don't know how safe that would be, but with wild meat, absolutely, or farm fresh meat, right? When you know what the animals are eating, liver would be absolutely full of nutrients. Huge. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Are you like a nutritionist or like?
Yeah, so I'm a nutrition coach and a personal trainer. So I write meal plans, I write exercise plans for people at home and at the gym. I saw there was actually a gym here on my way in. I was like, oh, is that where we're going after lunch? So yeah, so that's what I do now.
I'm just wondering, like, I have my leg. I'm losing a lot of muscle in my leg because of my surgery, and I have a prosthetic in there.
Okay.
Like, what kind of food should I be eating?
Whole foods, whole foods. So whole foods is anything that hasn't been processed. You know, so think of your fruits, your vegetables, your beans, legumes, lentils, you know, everything that hasn't been modified. And that's the problem nowadays. A lot of our foods that taste good has been modified. It's been processed. It's in boxes with a whole bunch of stuff added to it. They've taken the nutrients out of the foods and processed them and then added a bunch of sugar and oils and things that really don't belong in there. So I would definitely stick to whole foods. I mean, like for myself, like I said, like we always start our day, Michael and I, thank you so much for being here. He's my biggest supporter. You know, we start our day with lemon water, so we'll do lemon in hot water and then with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm telling you guys, that alone will help you lose weight. If you want to lose body fat, that alone will help, honestly, and it'll help with cravings and your blood sugars. And for diabetics, I mean, 1 tablespoon, especially at night, you'll wake up in the morning, test your blood sugars. After a week of doing that, you'll notice a difference, even without changing anything in your diet. It's really powerful. It's a great. And then after that, I usually make my greens, which I'll put things like celery, kale, broccoli, whatever, in a blender, and I'll drink that. And salads, but salads don't have to be boring either, right? Like, I mean, I don't just eat salads all day. People ask me that all the time. Do you just eat salads all day? No. I eat a lot of different foods. I eat a lot, actually. I out-eat him most days, to be honest. You know, as surprising as that may be, but do I have any other questions? No? Yeah?
You want to tell me what the pH balance after eating so this the alkaline and the pH?
Yeah, so you,
The apple cider vinegar and lemon, explain that to me, because that's huge.
yeah, because your body can become acidic, and when your body becomes acidic, what ends up happening is it'll start pulling calcium from your bones. So with apple cider vinegar, it helps regulate your pH balance in your body. So it is really beneficial, and it's not very expensive either. You can also add it into salad dressings as well. Like for my salad dressing, I just mix a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some spices, and a little bit of olive oil. And it's great, you know, instead of the store-bought stuff that's been sitting there for I don't know how long. Like it's just an easy way to make your own dressing. Is there anything that you want to add for the apple cider vinegar?
Your body can't fix itself in acidity. If your body's acidic, it's sick. If you got an alkaline body, disease doesn't grow in an alkaline body. So that's why we've changed our eating. In the morning, we get up, we have a hot tea, lemon, with apple cider vinegar, with a freshly squeezed lemon, hopefully organic, wash it, and I throw olive oil in there, and you change your body acidity and you'll get healthy.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar is huge. And I mean, you can buy it right at Walmart. Like you don't, I buy it in the 4-liter jugs because we go through so much of it, but yeah, the lemons cost more than the, yeah, that they do. But you can freeze lemons too. I mean, I cut them into wedges and I'll freeze them and grind them right into the blender. So, you know, that's another thing that you can add even to your lemon water. You can grind it right in the blender and add it to your lemon water. It's actually pretty good, not gonna lie. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope that you got something out of it. You know, it is really nerve-wracking for me to be up here, and it's hard. You know, I'm not scripted as much as I wrote some notes down, but it's like my eyes can't even see them. And you know, it's such a huge dream of mine, and it has been a huge goal to get out to the communities, more so in the kitchens. Like I want to get in the kitchens. I want to show people how to meal prep on a budget. Easy, fast meal prepping. So I talked to a lady, I don't know what her name is. When I first came in, she's involved in the Mercury building that's being built. And she said that that's gonna have a good kitchen in there, which is awesome. You know, I would love to see big community gardens in all of the communities. I think that would be pretty amazing. I don't know if that's a realistic goal or not. I mean, you know, with everything going around today, I think that'd be awesome just to have a big community garden, solar paneled all year long, or even just in the summer, and for everyone to be able to take part in that. You know, I feel like more schools should be teaching kids how to, you know, grow your own food, right? And share and save money in the meantime. So, so I think that's it for now. I'm gonna hand the mic back. Thank you so much for having me.